I don't know if y'all noticed this, but I have an accent. Actually, I have a couple of accents. My accents come... I'll let you figure it out. But anyway, accents are disappearing. People come from all over the country to another part of the country. They leave their original parts and go somewhere else. And then people come from other countries into the United States. And ultimately, it changes the way that we speak as we influence one another. Well, how does that affect voiceover? I'm Dane Reid, the voiceover guy. Check me out. When I first moved to Atlanta from New York, I wasn't thinking about doing voiceover. As a matter of fact, I was just using my voice to pick up girls. And it worked. But there was a reality that came to me. I was different. And I used that difference to move throughout Atlanta to build intrigue. But I started noticing something. A lot of New Yorkers were coming to Atlanta, and they were bringing their New York ways. They were bringing their New York accents, and I wasn't really that special. Now, you'll see that the Atlanta accent, which used to be the predominant accent here in Atlanta, is no longer the predominant accent in its own city. New Yorkers, Californians, people from Florida, New Orleans, Chicago, we're coming from all over the place. And the way that Atlanta sounds now, you're hard-pressed to find an Atlanta person. And you're hard-pressed to find that accent in the way that it used to be. Accents kind of define us. It tells where we're from. It gives an idea to other people what our stories are. But as we become more homogenous, it's no longer telling the story instantly. Look, when I walk into a room and I say, hey, yo, what's up? People already know that I'm a New Yorker. You know what they don't know? They don't know where I live. They don't know where my parents are from. They don't know that I'm a voice actor. So much of that is being changed just on the basis of us moving around. My accent represents New York, but what it doesn't tell people is that I live in Atlanta. So why does that matter as a voiceover talent? Why does that matter as an actor? Why does that matter as a newscaster? For a long time, we had this idea of what an American accent sounded. When we put people on the news, they always had this neutral American accent. And voiceover had been taken over by the neutral American accent. I see it in all the scripts. We want a neutral American accent, the mid-Atlantic accent. We want no distinguishable accents. Those are some of the things that you actually see in scripts. Not only back in the day, but those are things that you see in scripts today. That's making us all kind of sound the same. But it also takes away some of that uniqueness. I think of voiceover as being a storyteller, not just putting your voice on something. Look, that's what AI can't do. It can't tell stories. When I sit in front of this camera and I talk to you, I'm telling a story about my life, my experience. And I feel like those things are being eroded a little by little as we just kind of all blend into one another, as we keep learning from social media from one another, and we just all become the same person. And I feel like when you take these accents and the accents just all start being the same, you start taking away those stories. I think we need to ask for a native New York accent. I think we need to ask for that local Atlantan. We need to ask for the guy from New Orleans or from California. You know, all of those New England accents that are very unique. We need those in voiceover because we need to sell products to those people in those areas. We need to sell products to Chicago. We need to sell products to Wisconsin. Did I pronounce that right? Tell me how I did in the comments. I believe in unity. I believe in bringing us all together, but not necessarily making us all the same. My accent, it tells the story of a New York kid growing up, taking the train. It tells the story of parents that immigrated. It tells the story of a guy that moves all throughout the US and all throughout the world. And I tell this story uniquely in my New York accent because I want you to know where it all began. See, in voice acting and in acting, we talk about a past, a present, and a future. And when we're speaking as actors, we're telling the story of the present, but it had a past and it had a future. And when we all sound the same, what's our past? What's our future? There are different things about us that tell stories. There's race, there's culture, there's gender, there's the way we dress. People look down at our shoes, try to figure out who we are. But the minute that we open up our mouths, we begin telling our stories. And I think that's so important for a profession that is all about storytelling. This is a story that I'm telling you about how I think we could tell better stories. I'm Dane Reid, the voiceover guy. If you need voiceover, holla at me at DaneReidMedia.com. And if you want to learn voiceover, I got plenty more blogs. Go to DaneReidMedia.com/blog. Check out a lot of the valuable information that I have there. I'm Dane Reid, the voiceover guy, and peace. I love how I got this whole camera to follow me around.